glucose levels drop, so does brain functioning. The reason I asked you to stand up and do a symbol was because I wanted you to have oxygen flow to your brain and make your brain work better. I know you're tired. It's been a long day. When you have your classes at night, I know that some of you teach at language centers where students come to you at 7 o'clock at night. If you include movement every 10 to 15 minutes, you're not doing it because you're bored and you want to see your students stand up or because you think that that's fun. The reason why you do it is because you keep sending oxygen to the brain to make sure that people can think and are active and have the right glucose levels. It's really key. I know that when I asked you to stand up, all of you said, the reason for doing it is because you now have more oxygen in your brain and you're going to be thinking better for the next 10 to 15 minutes. And then we'll do it again. Okay? Please play along. Yeah? Okay. Increasing the supply of oxygen and blood to the brain of students in a classroom increases student alertness and learning. That's it. We're not doing it for another reason. We're not doing it because the English teacher is the fun teacher that has students move around. No. We're doing it because the English teacher is thinking of ways to make sure our students have oxygen in their brain and are thinking better. Okay? That is the whole idea of brain-based learning. It's not changing the way you teach. It's keeping little things in mind that when you do them, you're keeping the brain in mind and you're making sure that your students are using their brain better. Okay? So let's get moving and use active tasks every 10 to 15 minutes. And something, when I say active, and we'll do it today, is as simple as changing, instead of raising your hand, to standing up. If you do that, there's no oxygen to the brain. If you stand up and give your answer, there's oxygen to the brain. Something as simple as that will make the difference and will make your students use their brain better. Yeah? Okay, so we've said that the brain needs safety and the brain needs nourishment. The third thing that we're going to talk about is that the brain is emotional. And when we link learning to emotions, we use the brain to our benefit. So, linking learning to emotion makes learning memorable. Remember we said that key word, memorable. If you were to close your eyes and think of a memory you have of your childhood, I can assure you that that memory is somewhat linked to your emotions. It's either something that makes you very happy, or something that makes you sad, or something that makes you... Have you ever had something happen to you which you smell something and you say, that reminds me of my mother, or that reminds me of my childhood, or that... This is what we're saying. Imagine how powerful that is. You have that memory, you will never forget it because it's linked to your emotions. If we could do that with our teaching, if we could link the present perfect to emotions, and then students never forget it. That's what we're looking for, yeah? So, in your classrooms, we need to engage emotions, we need to add aromas, we need to use stories and pictures. And this is why you'll see, anytime I give a talk, you'll see that my presentation is full of pictures. I'm looking to engage you. Whether it's with the information there or the picture there, somehow, I always have music and stories in my talks because I'm looking to engage your emotions. Yeah? And I'm going to do that now. So, do you know this book? I'm going to try to have the microphone, the book, and the thing at the same time. Hold on. Okay. So this book is my favorite book. I read this book as a child and loved it, and still today, 40-somewhat years later, think it's the best book in the world. I want to share it with you for two reasons. I want to share it with you because I want you to see how you can use brain-based learning in your classroom. But I want to share it with you because what we do as teachers is when we share emotions and our favorite things, students start learning to share as well. Okay? So I want to share my book with you. I am going to ask you to get comfortable, not too comfortable because you're going to fall asleep, and listen to the story. Yeah? I can't hold the book, I'm sorry, but I'll read it from here, okay? So it's called The Giving Tree. What do you think the book is about? A tree? Yeah? Yeah, I think we can bet that it's going to be about a tree. Okay, what else?
Generosity.
Generosity? A close friend? Sharing. Has anybody heard the story before? No. Okay, here we go. Once there was a tree, and she loved a little boy. And every day the boy would come, and he would gather her leaves and make them into crowns and play king of the forest. He would climb up her trunk and swing from her branches and eat apples. And they would play hide and go seek. And when he was tired, he would sleep in her shade. And the boy loved the tree very much. And the tree was happy. But time went by, and the boy grew older. And the tree was often alone. Then one day, the boy came to the tree, and the tree said, "Come, boy, come and climb up my trunk, and swing from my branches, and eat apples, and play in my shade, and be happy." "I'm too big to climb and play," said the boy. "I want to buy things and have fun. I want some money. Can you give me some money?" "I'm sorry," said the tree, "but I have no money. I have only leaves and apples." "Take my apples, boy, and sell them in the city. Then you will have money and you will be happy." And so the boy climbed up the tree and gathered her apples and carried them away, and the tree was happy. But the boy stayed away for a long time, and the tree was sad. And then one day the boy came back, and the tree shook with joy, and she said, "Come, boy, climb up my trunk and swing from my branches and be happy." "I'm too busy to climb trees," said the boy. "I want a house to keep me warm," he said. "I want a wife and I want children, and so I need a house." "I have no house," said the tree. "The forest is my house. But you can cut off my branches and build a house. Then you will be happy." And so the boy cut off her branches and carried them away to build his house. And the tree was happy. But the boy stayed away for a long time, and when he came back, the tree was so happy she could hardly speak. "Come, boy," she whispered, "come and play." "I'm too old and sad to play," said the boy. "I want a boat that will take me far away from here. Can you give me a boat?" "Cut down my trunk and make a boat," said the tree. "Then you can sail away and be happy." And the boy cut down her trunk and made a boat and sailed away. And the tree was happy, but not really. And after a long time, the boy came back. "I'm sorry, boy," said the tree, "but I have nothing left to give you. My apples are gone." "My teeth are too weak for apples," said the boy. "My branches are gone," said the tree. "You cannot swing on them." "I'm too old to swing on branches," said the boy. "My trunk is gone," said the tree. "You cannot climb." "I'm too tired to climb," said the boy. "I'm sorry," sighed the tree. "I wish that I could give you something, but I have nothing left. I'm just an old stump. I'm so sorry." "I don't need very much now," said the boy. "Just a quiet place to sit and rest. I'm very tired." "Well," said the tree, straightening herself up as much as she could. "Well, an old stump is good for sitting and resting. Come, boy, sit down and rest." And the boy did. And the tree was happy. So what I'd like you to do is think of a person that the tree reminds you of. And if you can, stand up and tell us who that is. So we're going to do like little popcorns. You can stand up and sit down after you've said it. So who does the tree remind you of? Please play along. You don't have to stand up. Your mother. My mother. Okay. Somebody else?
My daddy.
My daddy.
Me.
Anybody else? your neighbor? Okay. Are you taking his apple? Okay. Now, what I'd like you to do is think of a question that you would ask the boy. And I'm going to ask you to turn around and ask the person that's sitting next to you that question. And that person should try to answer it as if she or he is the boy, okay? So think of a question you would ask the boy, and turn around and talk to the person sitting next to you and ask the question. Go ahead.
About the person, yeah. Why? Question.
It's a question for the boy. Okay. Can somebody give me an example of the question you asked the boy? Anyone? Yes. What makes you happy? That's a very good question. Okay. Now let's think of a question you would ask the tree. Shout it out. What is a question you would ask the tree? Why did you insist on giving? Okay. What do you think the answer is?
Because I love you.
Now remember, if you came to my talk yesterday when we talked about fact questions, do you remember that? These are fact questions. These are questions that there's no right or wrong answer. The tree could answer anything. The tree could say, because I like giving. And there are many people in our lives, and I'm sure that a lot of you didn't stand up, but you thought of someone that story reminded you of. And you thought, I know someone like that gives and gives and gives and doesn't care if they get anything back. So the whole message is, imagine that instead of this story, we were, or as well as the story, we were teaching students the parts of a tree. And you can connect learning to a story like this and make it memorable. Some of you were crying with this story. This is the kind of memory we want to make. This is memorable learning. This is a memory that you won't forget. And hopefully, if after today and in 10 days and 10 years, you remember that story, I can feel that I did my job as a teacher. And you learned something memorable. That's what we're looking for. So again, the whole idea of brain-based learning is not change the way you teach, change what you do. It's just making little changes that make your teaching more memorable. Yeah? Okay. So, stand up again. Okay.